So something amazing that some animals do to enable them to survive is something called migration. And migration is when animals move a long distance from one place to another. And they do it for lots of different reasons. Sometimes they do it because they need to go to somewhere else to find some food. Sometimes they do it because they need to move to their breeding grounds. Sometimes they do it because of the climate. It's maybe a bit too cold and they need to go somewhere where it's warmer. So two quick examples of migration. One is an amazing example. This is salmon. So I've got a couple of salmon here. Basically, the salmon's life is just basically one big migration, and it's just amazing the way it does it. What happens is a salmon, first of all, it starts off its life as a teeny tiny fish at the top of a small riverbed. So that's a picture of a salmon there. So the salmon is born at the top of a river, where it's a small stream really, and it grows up a little bit there. And once it's grown up a little bit at the top of the river, what it does is it swims all the way down this river into the ocean. And when it gets to the ocean, it's a juvenile, so it's still it's pretty young, but it grows up to being an adult in the ocean, and it gets to being a reproductive age, so it can reproduce. And then when it's done that in the ocean, what it amazingly does then is it turns around, it finds the opening of the river that it originally came out of when it was young. It swims back up that river to the exact same spot where it was born. It's pretty hard to swim up the river. So here they are, they're swimming over the river, but they've got to escape bears, they've got to swim over rocks. So it's a really hard journey. And when they get up to the top of the river, they reproduce and they lay some eggs, and then some new salmon are born. But the amazing part about it is that at the top of the river, when new salmon are born, the parents, they basically die. So new salmon are born at the top of this river, and nobody tells them what to do. They just know somehow in their DNA, in their genes, it's encoded in their genes that tells them this behavior to swim down the river into the ocean and then swim back up to reproduce. And it happens over and over and over again. No one tells them how to do it, but they just know to do these two enormous migrations down the river and then back up the river to enable the species of salmon to keep surviving. It's amazing. The other example of migration is birds, and in fact thousands and thousands of species of birds migrate, and they do it for a host of different reasons, because they often want to go to a different climate. But some birds have got some really interesting adaptations that enable them to survive and also enable them to migrate. So the first one is a behavior that birds do. Birds fly in this V formation, and basically a V formation enables the birds to fly and use up less energy when they do fly. So it's really hard to be the bird at the front, flying at the front, because you have to use up lots and lots of energy. But if you're a bird at the back, it's nowhere near as hard. And the birds take different turns at the front and the back so that they all don't get as tired as they would if they were just to fly by themselves. Birds also eat quite a lot before they start their migration, in case they are unable to eat as they fly across the vast expanses of the ocean. And a feature of birds that enables them to fly is in fact that birds have got hollow bones. And the hollow bones makes them light, and it makes it easier for them to fly. And sometimes they do fly a really, really long way, so that enables them to migrate. So migration is an amazing animal behavior that basically enables a species to survive, and salmon and various species of birds are great examples of migration.